Okay, today I'm joined by my good friend Christine, and she is somebody who I thought is really, really interesting to collaborate with. Her and I have been working together for quite a few years, and she is very passionate about health and fitness, and more importantly, how the mental side of things is involved in keeping your body of sound and mind. So I would like to make this as broad as possible and find out. I think everybody should know Christine's story, and I think it's important that we understand how she got to where she is. And I guess I have to start with, who are you, Christine? What's your story?
Who am I? At the moment, I'm a structure coach, as I call it, and the structure that I work with is based on my education as a mental trainer, personal trainer, and a bit of specialization in the rehab training and diet. The structure part of it, why I call it that I work with structure, is because the reason I started all of this was my own lack of structure. So you could say that I coach structure because my natural ability to do it is zero to none. So that's what I
See,
do.
I'm I see whatever it is that you apply yourself to, you do 110%. Like you were going to the public speaking, the toasters meetings, and you're winning those all the time.
Yeah.
You don't do anything by half. You tend to go all out. So if somebody is going to be all out on mental training, I can imagine you must be doing endless amounts of research and self education on this. So what sort of education do you have in this area?
In the mental training one, the interest came, and I because I really want to help people. But I made this promise quite young to myself that I would never be one of those grown-ups that you say like something is going on or you're feeling bad. And if I were able to do that, I would never be the type of grown-up that go, oh well, so, or I'm not the one to talk to. So I kind of became obsessed with the first meeting when someone is in pain, the first meeting of getting help. I've been obsessed with that, and I look for what's the best way and best base I can, because I know I can never answer perfectly every time someone comes to me. So I looked like what is the best education in Norway, uh, and this was run it's a school Akerbrygge, a lot for leaders, but it was 18 months that course. But as you say, I'm very all in, so I didn't feel that was enough. I felt that I wanted experience, so I actually harassed the man who runs the school for weeks by email, phone, to make him hire me so I could watch everything he did for a year. He said no 8 to 10 times until I kind of forced myself into his apartment and showed him a representation of how we were going to help people. And he hired me. And then I worked there for a year. So it's a year experience, personal experience, in addition to getting the education and then working a bit with him on the school. That is the mental training part. Sorry, this is a long answer. There is
No, but
this, yeah,
that just goes to show, like, most people who, that's the same thing with me, because I was a personal training teacher for many years, and I was watching when I was attending some personal training courses, all I could think of was, I wonder what it's like to stand up there and present this. I wonder what it's like to be that person in that teaching position, because it's such a, in order to teach, you have to know so much, because you have to be prepared. If to you have to know this much to teach this much. So I understand that you and I think very much alike in that way, that you would hassle him to get a job. The way to truly know something is to work in that industry, to work with the best person, to be right beside that person, and really understand what it is they're doing. Because a lot of people get a PT qualification and they go, "Thank you for that piece of paper." They go off and work at Alexia, and they just don't succeed because they don't understand that getting that piece of paper is just a foot in the door. What you do after that is your career. So
Well, the
I
problem
really,
is that people take a personal training education to work as a personal trainer. People take a coaching education to work as a coach. The difference was I was looking for who I am, and I don't work as a mental trainer. I am a mental trainer, and I work
yeah,
as a personal trainer. Yes, personal training, that's something I work with. But a mental trainer, that is what I am. Because when you have the perspective of I'm gonna work as this, then you're only thinking about what you're selling and you're thinking about the short-term perspective. If you're thinking about my mission, my highest aim is to use all my knowledge to my best ability to help as many as possible as effectively as possible. You can't really fail with that. Like there's enough people to help. Uh, but
I guess
that's the
the thing with and a lot of personal trainers don't actually know what it's like to be personal trained as well. Like they want to be a personal trainer, then I ask them, "Hey, how much personal training have you actually had?" And they say, I've never been trained." Well, how would you even know what it's like to be a, like, you want to be something that you've never experienced yourself? So that leads me on to the idea of mental training means overcoming situations. So the best person to discuss that with is someone that's overcome mental hardship themselves because they have actually lived it. They know how to relate to it. It's one thing to talk to somebody and say and get advice, but if they've never been through the hardship, they can't really speak with the same authority or empathy. So,
yeah.
what kind of hardships have you overcome?
Before I answer, I just have to say about the personal training bit. One thing that is unfair about it, I know a lot of trainers that are really that take an education, have so much experience, and they're really good at helping people doing what they do, but they don't succeed uh, because so much of a personal training job is getting attention and getting out there. And unfortunately, there's a lot of bad PTs that get a lot of clients because they're just out everywhere. So I just want to say, like, just because someone quits as a personal trainer, it's not because always like they're bad. It's sometimes just because they want to work with what they're good at, and
Yeah,
half of the personal training job is not about training people, unfortunately.
no.
Um, you asking me why I'm obsessed with what I do? No, you asked.
No, the hardship. So, like, have you had any? So, if I came to you and said, I've had some serious trauma in my life, how would you even know what that's like to relate to me to that? I mean, I have had some serious things happen to me, but what sort of things have happened to you that can make me empathize or to make you empathize with me? What is it that you've had to overcome?
Wow, I wasn't prepared for that question. That is it's a deep one. There's a lot of those things. There's one thing what I would answer to someone sitting in front of me. I do have it depends a lot on the person. I sometimes joke about the reason the universe gave me like so many traumas in such a wide range was as a gift. So there will be no matter what issue people come to me with, I would have had that issue or injury or trauma. And unfortunately, so far, 90% of the clients I can go, yeah, that happened to me too. So it's a wide range. I had the physical things like the body. Uh, I had a bad prolapse when I was 13, which caused me to have a lot of pain until I was 15, 16, or actually all up in the 20s. But the first those years, I often got like locked and stuck on the floor in back pain. That was one. Then I have a lot of things I caused myself by being stupid, like stage diving over a table and landing on my face and breaking my nose. I did those kind of fun things when I was younger.
Mm-hmm.
And then I also had some that really wasn't voluntary, like the brain damage and the neck damage I have. Uh,
So what
uh,
the incident when you lost your sense of taste? What was the reason for that?
Not the sense of taste. I lost my taste experience. I lost my sense of
Sense of
smell.
smell.
Yeah, I was trying to find out how far I could lean back without falling when I was 4, and unfortunately I fell 2 meters and landed on my head.
Mm.
So that was quite a neck pain, really bad neck pain that I've had since always, and my sense of smell disappeared 100%. We didn't know it back then, but my mom said like it was one day you just completely changed. You stopped eating and you were angry and you just changed personality, and that was probably due to stop eating. Anyone, I still get very cranky if I don't eat. So yeah, that sense of smell thing affected my journey a lot. It really puts you outside as a kid as well when you can't join all the things that taste and smell. So I think that kind of made me feel like an outsider a little bit.
I can't even imagine not being able to taste and smell. But I mean, a lot of people during Corona had that issue. That was a litmus test. If you had Corona, you lost your taste sense of taste and smell. So during Corona, you
I,
could probably empathize with a lot of people there.
yeah, but the thing is, like having Corona, people say I have no sense of smell, but I would say like there's a difference between being blind and having reduced sight to need glasses. To
Mm.
have no sense of smell, you have to actually have the nerves in your brain being cut off, so there's no message going to your consciousness.
Yeah.
So you need to have a brain damage to do that. So when you're COVID and you don't have sense of smell, what you're really saying is you need really strong glasses. Like you barely can't. But it's a big difference between being blind and having glasses. Uh, so appreciate the little, even if you have COVID, appreciate the little smell you have back, because that's a lot more than nothing.
I'm. I just have to come. I have to paralysis. Then tell me what happened there. This is
Oh,
something I want to know.
what happened? I actually don't want to go into this long story, but the consequence of those days were that 90% of my right leg didn't work. And it was, well, the doctor suspected it was something they did, so they didn't want to. They said, no, 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 it's fine. Your leg's working. So I had to like fight for 2 weeks to say, no, I can't lift it. It's not working. I was in the hospital. Uh, and after 2 weeks, I got someone from another department actually to come in and examine me because my doctors were ignoring it. And she said, no, you're honestly, it's dead. Like she's a physiotherapist. There were no reactions to any nerve. So they examined that and did this. They put needles in the nerve to see if it's weak or if it's gone. And they came to the conclusion that it was 100% gone,
Wow.
like cut off in the hip. I had like the outer part of my foot working and I could kind of lift my leg because half the muscles were working, but it wasn't really enough to walk properly. So I had to like tie this hook on my shoelaces to tie it to my leg so the foot wouldn't drop, because then I could kind of jump with crutches. But they said I wouldn't be able to, that would never come back. Uh, but after trying a lot of trainers, I found someone that does what I do now,
Mm.
rehab with personal experience. Was a guy from England. After training many physios, it was just a regular PT from England, and he got me going and having 90% movement in about, I think it took a year maybe, but you couldn't tell anything after a year that I had that paralyzed period.
So
So
that
that
like
that inspired me a lot. That's what made me start training. Like I always said I was going to start running before that, and after that happened, I was like, Jesus, I had 25 years to start running, and then I thought, actually, I can't keep using it as an excuse. I still have
mm,
one leg, like I got one and a half. So that's actually when I started training for the first time with my thread around my foot and my crutches. That's when I started running. 1 week after it happened, I started running for the first time in my life.
Wow. I mean, it's amazing. Like this is kind of like it's in Norway. They tend to put a lot of weight on the piece of paper that you have. Like you said before, a lot of the personal trainers, they may be really, really good at them at the educational part, but they're not very good at marketing themselves, right? So they're very good at what they do, but just no one knows because they're not good at selling themselves. But what you have experienced and what you've gone through gives you an education that you could never ever dream of. I mean, the fact that you've gone through all those things, you've woken up without being able to move. You've experienced what it's like to have those days, to have those moments, to have doubt, to have depression, to have all these reasons to give up.
Can I interrupt you there though? Because
Yeah.
you're asking like when people have these issues and come to you, like then you can sympathize. And that's not really, it's actually quite the opposite. I think if you want sympathy, I think it's better to go to a personal trainer that have not had the same experience that I have.
Yeah.
Because and people still stay, but I have a lot of women that come to me, it's like, oh, I went through this, this, and this. And I go, yeah, okay, I went through that and that. They're like, holy shit, thank you for being open. Like, I didn't know, like, you were Pete and, like, you could relate to me. It's so good to have someone that understands me. And I'll go, yeah, that's really great because I'm the only one that can tell you that it's completely fucking irrelevant.
Yeah.
And if
Yeah.
you start crying, I will know how that feels and I'll wait, but we're going to keep going. So
Yeah.
I'm happy that I can relate to you because that's just, yeah. But you're not lifting the leg extension with your heart. So if your heart's broken, great, we'll just get the blood to your legs then. So in a lot of ways, it's just it gives me the right
Yeah.
to say what they need to hear. Actually, so it's not always like, oh, I was also there. Like,
No, but I don't
you
think
go
it's
ahead.
sympathy. No,
Yeah,
sympathy and empathy are two very different things. And I was
yeah,
always told, yeah, show empathy, but not sympathy. As a bouncer, you don't say, oh, you poor thing, you can't get in, No, I understand what it's like to not be able to get in tonight. You empathize with them, but you don't say, oh, you poor thing. So I understand that empathy is something that is a gift for you because you can get in their shoes and then also make them realize that that's not an excuse. If you want to dig yourself a grave and lay in it now and give up on life, you can. I understand. I fully understand, but that's not going to help you. It's not going to help me. It's not going to help your kids. It's not going to help anything. So
but it gives them hope. The thing is, it doesn't make it gives them hope because it's not like they were making excuses. They literally thought there was a limit or a handicap in terms of them reaching the goal, and
yeah.
they just think it's great that someone tells me, okay, that is not a limiting factor at all because I've gone through it too. I've also weighed 78 kilos. I also had sugar addiction. And no, children is not an obstacle. No, being burnt out is not an obstacle. We're going to just,
No.
okay, you're overweight, you're sugar addicted, and you're really stressed and you have trauma. Well, we have to structure your journey after that then. Like, okay, your journey will be looking different than if you were a 10-foot football player. But
Yeah.
it doesn't change your transformation much. It's just adjusting. Everything's just adjusting, and they love hearing that. Like someone goes, not like, oh no, they go, and I go, okay, so
Yeah.
I'm taking that into account. Okay, what else? Okay, taking that into account. Okay, you have toe prolapses and you have a mom that's an asshole. Okay, good. I'll take that into account. It all matters. Like, okay, step one, your mom can't call you the nearest 10 weeks because you're busy training.
One of the things that frustrates me the most when I look at Instagram is the amount of 24-year-old personal training females who promote themselves as PTs, who think that they can get some menopausal woman back into shape, and they have the genetics because they're 24. They whatever they want. Haven't lived life. They don't have kids. They basically probably still get a certain amount of money from their parents to support their lifestyle. So they have no idea what it's like to live in the real world. Yet they are trying to inspire 40-year-old housewives to change their life. And I go, come back when you were 27, 28, when your metabolism starts to slow, and all of a sudden you start reacting to the McDonald's that you're eating every Saturday night after you, and you go out and piss on every Saturday night, because your body is that way, not because of any, yeah, sure, you go to the gym, but you're not eating the right foods. You're just 24. That's the reason you look that way. If you are 40-year-olds and you look that way, wow, then you've got some secrets. So what makes me so impressed with you is that you have gone through all of that. Don't use it as an excuse. Use it as a motivation. And you literally you come with the experience that, because being paralyzed has nothing to do with 30-year-old, 10-year-old, 2-year-old, whatever. It's a situation you have to overcome. Anyone can relate to that. If you're going through it, I need to know it can be overcome. Anything that you've gone through can be overcome despite the age. So that's what transcends you and the other people, because you're not limited to that. Oh, you're just lucky because you're of your age or your genetics. You've actually worked to overcome those things. So that's something a mental trainer. There's so many people that call themselves mental trainers, but they really haven't experienced. They actually talk their hardships up. They try to make their hardships. They got bullied when they were a kid. Okay, so that makes you a mental trainer. Yeah, because I overcame being bullied because I had a bad haircut one time and someone teased me. Okay, that's not really the same. You haven't really learned to
But
walk.
to be honest, like when you speak about those people and those young girls, it's not like they're cruel or greedy or anything. It's just young and they don't have the knowledge. Like when they say I'm a mental trainer, it's because they think they are, and the only, like if a menopause woman buys a program from a 24-year-old, I don't care. Let the girl have the live like the life
Yeah,
experience. Let the woman have the failure. I don't think those are the biggest problems going around. Uh, I see. As long as they've taken the education, I don't really mind people doing, like, people have to take responsibility for themselves. As long as people don't. The thing that do annoy me is the people that they change their life, like my life, for example. Okay, I weighed 78 kilos, and then I had all these issues, did all these different things, and I by then felt this is the answer. So if someone choose this, then they'll lose 14 kilos in 6 months. That's what it felt like. But I didn't sell that, did I? Because that is not education. It's not science, and there's so many factors into a person changing. Like, you can't just change your diet. You change other things. You cut out your friends, or you stop drinking, or you change your apartment, or you started going to bed. There's so many things. And I see the biggest problem in social media is the people that they're selling a diet, like, eat this because then you'll get here, because they had a great result with that, and I believe that they had that. But I just missed, some of them don't have the self-awareness to say no. Eating salad every morning for breakfast wasn't the thing that was magical. What was magical was that you also ate proper food all the other meals instead of candy suddenly. And the reason you started was because your boyfriend broke up with you and caused you a lot of stress. That's the thing that made you happier. But they just go, no, it's the salad leaf. That's the magic
mm,
solution. Those are the ones that annoy me the most. Like, they're 100 convinced, and people other get really convinced, and they waste health and months on following stupid diets when they could have used those time with building muscle, educating themselves, and using so much less money on
yeah,
progress. That's what annoys me, and not the God. Let the 24-year-old show her abs. If it motivates the old ladies, God, good on her. Because the thing is, she probably gives them more help than I can for their money. She's probably cheap. Like
Yeah.
I can't give someone a diet for 1,000, 1,200, or 500 like they do. But like if they want to do that, great. But I think people
Yeah.
are wise enough to know the price will reflect what they're getting.
Well, that's also the thing with PTs is PTs are quite often sold based on their pricing, and the one thing that you have to be able to justify your pricing, and you have to be able to justify your service, and if you are really worth what you charge, and when you do your service, you don't sell the price. You sell obviously the whole package of the end result, the feeling, how you will feel.
Yeah, I
If
was gonna
you
say that no, none of my transformation clients think about the price because
no,
it's very little, even if it's 30,000 for something for something we're doing. We always the way I set the package for someone is I go, where are you? Where do you want to be? And then I try to calculate what is the least time I can use to give them the best result ever. And then we go, and I go, okay, this is the least time I would need. But if you also added this time, I think it would be easier for you because then we could repeat it and then we'll build and then we'll come to conclusion what hours that would take. But if you really gone through all of those steps, people like what they're actually gonna get and gonna do and stuff. If you work from that perspective, I've never had a customer going, "Oh no, that's too much money." It's what you deliver. If you really deliver something that really changes their life permanently, it's not a price;
mm.
it's an investment. That always
so
pays back.
so
Investing in health always pays back.
what I'd like to do is to summarize, and for moving forward, maybe for the future for our discussions, is looking at your entire service of what you provide and all the different unique components and aspects of that service. And we can go in and discuss each individual aspect in upcoming interviews,
Yeah.
discussing the procedure. So from the moment that I meet you as a client, what are the things that you offer me?
Yeah. There's a lot. There's a broad aspect, and it's different for each client. But what I'd be happy to do is to share the most popular tools one by one. We can because there's small things they don't. But what I normally let people try, one of my tools is what I call the transformation tracker, which is where I started and I still use. So we might just go through to share uh, each tool and step one by one, so people can actually start using it if they can't afford the full service. I'm happy to share the small parts bit by bit.
I think that would be very interesting because this is all new to me. This is I understand the physical side of things, and the mental component is self-taught. I don't really understand the science behind the mental side as much as it's just kind of a gut feeling. So it would be a real education for me to see these modules because I think I'll probably learn a lot about this. This will be a good process for me, and I think you telling me this will be me hearing it for the first time. I'll probably have the same questions as everybody else.
Yeah, I normally just talk about muscle and gains when we chat or supplements.
Yeah, but I mean, you're the reason why I like to talk to you is because you're not a meathead, and that's what
Oh
makes
yeah,
me, yeah, yeah. Well, you're not as much of a
meathead,
meathead as,
Chris. Have you seen
yeah.
my voice? Sorry.
Oh yeah, no, I've seen your progress. You've definitely changed a lot, but I think that you're the one person who pushes me outside of my comfort zone to be accountable to things. Like I know I don't get any kudos from you. You just go, yeah, and are you happy with that? Are you? Is that enough? Is it? Is that
Is
are
that the
you are
best you
you?
could do? Then
Yeah, is that the
great.
best you can
You
do?
know it's the
Yeah,
best you could
yeah,
do. Yeah.
yeah.
I
No,
hear
I
that's
like it.
actually the nicest compliment I've been starting to get, which I appreciate the most, is when like friends and even I've got that from a lot of Evo members now. It sounds like bragging, but it just makes me so happy when they like write like, "Hi, I just want to say." last week I really didn't want to go to the gym, and then I got this story up of you going to gym at 4 o'clock, and I thought, bloody hell, if she goes at 4, I can go at 7. And also, like, friends, like a male friend recently told me, he was like, I was just kind of like getting lazy, and then I just saw your transformation tracker of all your habits, and I go, bloody hell, I have to step it up, Jesus. So it does make me happy. Like, that's kind of why I do like I don't have to get up before, but the reason I really enjoy taking it to the extreme is not always for me. It is because I get all these nice things. They go like, she's going that far. I know, like, if I go 110, like, people can, then 50% doesn't seem so much. So that's the sport for me, going so extreme that people try to do it half as extreme at least.
Yeah, well, you have to lead by example. So that's the best way to. You can't expect anything from your client. I would always do, if I would do a leg session with a client, I would have to have done that leg session myself the week before to know that it's doable. I know what it feels like, and I would say, okay, if I expect that from them, then I have to be able to do it myself, or it's wrong for me to ask something of somebody that I can't do myself, because I need to experience it.
I just get in so much pain when you say that, because I had that experience to last the latest 6 months. I have 3 times like put these really crazy cruel workouts together that I was gonna give a client, and then I did them myself, especially the last one. And I was in so much pain. I was like, I'll never do this to a client. Like, that's the reason it's good to try first, because I had my daughter that weekend, and the clients that were doing it were also parents, and I was like, bloody hell. So it's fun, but the pain of trying your own workouts first, painful.
You have to.
The good thing is my daughter learned how to make coffee that weekend.
Because you couldn't move. All right. So I would like to do this on a fairly regular basis. We'd like to do this once a week, once a fortnight. So if anyone wants to make any comments on topics, we will go into the modules one at a time. But any other topics in particular anyone would like to know about, please make a comment and get involved. Contact Christine. Make sure that you are making the most of all of your training and mental side of things. So
can I decide the next episode what it's about?
Sure.
The next episode, because I know all my clients and myself is excited about this. It's about, I've been nagging about getting this. How do you pronounce it?
Glycosides. Yes, it's a modified glycerol.
My clients and I, we've been talking about it, and we really would love to have a session where we can ask about creatine, amino acids, and this thing, how to combine it. I know a lot of my clients and myself are excited about it.
Yeah. Thanks for that shameful plug. So, well, I mean, we have to make some money at some point, but I definitely am interested to learn more about this mental side of training and plug my products so we can both win.
Maybe we can take turns. Like, I get to ask you next time, and after that, you get to ask me.
Oh, yeah. You don't want to hear about my trauma.
Yes, actually, there's a lot of. I had a list of things that me and a client were talking about that we wanted to ask you, and we did. We were actually talking about, like, how did you get so damaged that you pushed yourself to that crazy place? Like, you don't grow up in a what do you say, like A4 square family, and then just decide I'm gonna, because you had the less body potential to win, and you just I've read your Viking book. That's crazy. People do want to know why you did that and how.
Yeah. No, there's unlimited topics to talk about.
Yeah, that'll be episode 4 then.
Stay tuned for the next episode. All right. Thank you very much for this time, Christine.
Yes.